Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us today as we continue our coverage of Massachusetts versus Dr. Tuerk. We are into day 6. Yesterday we heard testimony from the medical examiner, retired detective, and Lieutenant John Fanning, who you may know from Sarah Birchmore case and Karen Reed case. So I thought that was interesting. Today we're going to pick up on day 6. This is only going to be a short day. It's about 3 hours. Yeah, it's about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So it will be a short day for this trial. But then Stefan Stearns is going to be coming on at 2 o'clock. So we're going to go live at 1:45. So we will have stuff for you to watch all throughout today. But for this morning, we're going to pick up on Massachusetts versus Dr. Tuerk. So who is with us this morning? MEG, good morning to you. Fala, good morning to you. Baka and Brat and Golden Girl. So good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. We have Shirley Roth. Good morning to you. And Wendy Williams. Good morning, family. I hope you all had a good night's sleep. I'm sure Lori didn't miss much sleep. Brenda Mayer, good morning to you. I have to hit the like button as you guys come in. I have to do the same. Yeah, yesterday was a good day. Iowa Backyard, happy Wednesday to you. Be sure to hit the like button. Yes, thank you for that. And for those that are familiar with the Karen Reed case, you'll see that this trial was held in the same courtroom. Yesterday was the same courtroom. I don't know if they're in the same courtroom today. They're in the same courthouse for sure, and they're kind of shifting around. Oh, here comes Superball. Superball just did a cruise by. There she is. Oh, kitty butt. Yeah, it's a good girl. She's going into her cat bed. Yeah, it's a good girl. My little pearl eagle. Okay. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to day 6 of Massachusetts versus Tuerk. And yes, Shirley Roth. Glad the jury got it right. Totally agree. Hey, Judy M., thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Iowa background. Oh, Golden Girl. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching in Iowa Backyard. Glad you watched the recap yesterday. Cool. Man, Baka, Super Bowl drive-by. We do that a lot, or we say that a lot. It's funny you say that. Because when they'll go running by and they'll like meow or whatever. So we call them drive-by meows. They'll be like meow, 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 meow. as they go cruising by. So we're like, we call them meow drive-bys. Judy M., my cat Strider loves that dishy bed too. Oh, we call it jacuzzi. Nice. Wendy Williams, I'm so very thankful you're covering Stefan Stearns. Like many, I followed the case from the day she and Sebastian Rogers went missing. I remember when she went missing. I remember it. Shirley Roth, Superball knows where she belongs. Wendy, Superball. Nice. All right, guys, let's get to it. Right? Time's a-wasting. Let's get to it.
All persons having anything to do before the Honorable Judge Halal, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, now sitting in Dedham, within and for the County of Norfolk, the transaction of criminal business. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and this Honorable Court. This court is now open. You may be seated.
For the record, before the court is Commonwealth versus Ingolf Tuerk, 20 CR 138. The parties are present. Our 16 jurors are present. The matter is on for trial.
All right. Good morning, jurors. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a nice long weekend. Were you all able to follow the instructions that I gave you at the end of the day Wednesday?
Yes.
Anybody who was not able, please raise your hand. All right, no hands are being raised. We're going to continue on. As I indicated, today is more of a half day. We will take a break about 12:15 or so for about a half an hour. Then we're going to come back and go until about 2 o'clock. Okay, tomorrow will be a full day. I will check in with the attorneys when you go onto your break to find out what the schedule looks like for tomorrow and then possibly Wednesday as well to give you as much of an update as I can. Okay? Thank you. All right, Ms. Beatty, do you want to call your next witness, Ms. McLaughlin?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth will call Edward Keefe to the stand.
Okay.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to the court and the jury in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please spell your, could you please state your full name, spelling your last name for the record?
It's Edward Keefe, Keefe.
Where do you currently work?
I'm employed with the Massachusetts State Police.
What is your current rank with the Massachusetts State Police?
I'm a lieutenant with the Massachusetts State Police.
How long have you worked for the State Police?
19 years.
Can you please describe your educational background for the jury?
I have a bachelor's degree and an associate's degree in criminal justice. My bachelor's is from the University of Massachusetts in Lowell. My associate's degree is from Middlesex Community College in Bedford.
And what is your current assignment? I know you said your rank is lieutenant, but where are you stationed right now?
So currently I am assigned to headquarters at the Commonwealth Fusion Center. The Commonwealth Fusion Center is our intelligence gathering arm of the state police. I oversee our cybersecurity and critical infrastructure program for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of State Police.
How long have you been doing that?
Approximately 3 years.
Prior to that, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to the Massachusetts State Police Cybercrime Unit from 2020 through 2022.
And where were you stationed in that assignment?
I was stationed at the Cybercrime Unit's location was in Milford.
Prior to that, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to the State Police Detective Unit at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. And that was from 2015 through 2020.
What were your responsibilities in that assignment?
My assignment at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office was digital forensics examiner and investigations with involving digital media and white-collar crime.
And were you the only person assigned as a digital forensic examiner at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office at that time?
No.
Who else was a digital forensic examiner there?
Trooper Nicholas Garino, and we had a civilian examiner, Samantha Vogt.
Can you explain for us what a digital forensic examiner is?
So a digital forensic examiner does examinations on all types of devices, storage media, such as computers, cell phones, tablets. We also do it on disk drives, external disk drives, DVR systems, which would be like camera systems. We have also branched into what we refer to as IoT or Internet of Things devices. Those would be your Amazon Alexas or a Ring camera. We deal with different types of data, such as social media, cloud, which is basically a computer in another location, but stores it, which you can access through a web browser.
Did you have to obtain any certificates in order to become a digital forensic examiner?
I have two certifications. One, I'm a certified computer forensic examiner, and that was awarded by the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists. I'm also a certified mobile device examiner, which was also awarded by the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists.
Did you have to pass the practical and written exams in order to obtain those certificates?
Yes.
Do you have any other certifications that are relevant to your work as a digital forensic examiner?
No, I do not.
How many phones have you examined, do you believe?
Through the course of my career, several thousand.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Through the course of my career, several thousand.
Can you explain to us how you remove evidence from a mobile device when you receive it?
We use a variety of tools to examine cell phones. The main tool that we use is Celebrite. Celebrite is a combination of hardware and software to extract data from phones. Celebrite was originally actually a commercial product, so the company was founded in 1999. So originally when you went to, let's say, the Verizon store, the AT&T store, and you bought a new phone, the salesman would offer to transfer your contacts, call logs, all your information from one phone to another. They actually use Celebrite to do that. Law enforcement agencies realized this type of technology early on and used to use it to clone phones, which basically they would buy a similar phone to one they wanted to examine. Celebrite then eventually updated their capabilities to be more of a forensic device, which we're doing a one-way extraction, which basically is we're just taking the one device and extracting it to storage media so we can examine it rather than copying it from one phone to another phone.
And once you have performed a forensic extraction, what do you do at that point?
So when we perform the extraction, we get a data file. Okay, so basically the data file in its raw form is basically a collection of ones and zeros. We use Celebrite software to interpret that data so it's information that is readable. So your text messages, your pictures, web history, all that information is originally stored as ones and zeros, but then using that software, we can compile it so that we can use it in a readable format to do an examination of the data collected.
Do you conduct analysis in every phone that you perform a forensic extraction on?
No, I do not.
Why not?
In the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, most of the troopers that are assigned there are trained in using Celebrite. A lot of times we're also doing it that I am not privy to all aspects of the investigation. So for me to perform an analysis when I do not have all of the information to perform a thorough examination would not be beneficial to the investigation.
I'd like to direct your attention to May 15th of 2020. Did you become involved in an investigation involving the disappearance of Kathleen McLean?
Yes, I was.
How?
I was asked to report to the Dover Police Station to assist the troopers that were assigned there in the data extraction of 2 cell phones.
And you stated that you went to the Dover Police Station?
That is correct.
Approximately what time?
It was sometime in the evening after 6, between 6 and 8 o'clock.
What did you do when you arrived?
I met with Sergeant Kakowski, and he had 2 friends of Miss McLean there who claimed that they had conversations with her prior to her reporting being missing.
And you say 2 friends. Do you remember their names?
Yes, the first one was Kurt Fanasteel, and the second was a Miss Pettigrew.
And did you meet Vanessa Pettigrew at the police station?
Yes, I did.
Once you met with her, what did you do?
She provided her device. I used Celebrite to perform an advanced logical extraction of her device. Once that extraction was complete, I did a keyword search for Mr. Tuerk, communications with Mr. Tuerk and Ms. McLean. Between those parties, I compiled it into a report and gave it to Sergeant Kakowski for review.
So I'm just going to back you up a little bit. Prior to Ms. Pettigrew handing over her device, did she sign a consent form?
Yes.
And what was her device, if you remember?
It's an Apple iPhone 11.
And how was it identified as hers?
It was through her International Mobile Equipment Identity Number, or IMEI.
And what is an IMEI number?
So an IMEI number is a unique 15-digit number. It's used by both manufacturers and cell phone providers to authenticate a device on a cell phone network. So, for example, if your device became lost or stolen and you reported that, your carrier could potentially, what they refer to as blacklist your IMEI, which means if somebody tried to sell it or tried to activate it, it should not be allowed.
Did you, after you conducted your analysis, did you also do a preliminary device report for Vanessa's phone?
I did.
And can you just explain what a preliminary device report is?
So the preliminary device report is basically I'll call it the basic information. Think of it as if you have an iPhone and you have, like, in your settings tab, all of that basic information such as the serial number, what carrier you're using, what type of device it is, when it was activated, what the phone number was, IMEI, other data that is associated with the use of that device is on it. It's usually about a one-page report.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm handing you what's been pre-marked as Commonwealth's Exhibit 326. Is that the preliminary device report for Vanessa Pettigrew's phone?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And you stated that you were able to forensically extract Vanessa's phone, is that right?
I performed an extraction of the device, yes.
And what were you able to extract from her phone?
Contacts, call logs, pictures, videos, both text messages and what we refer to as MMS, which is multimedia messages. That's usually when you're sending a picture back and forth to somebody, some internet history and other system data files, which would help you create this preliminary device report.
So essentially, she gave you permission to extract the entire contents of her phone.
Yes.
Were you able to recover deleted data?
I believe I was able to recover some deleted data, yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about...
Can you ask that again, please?
Sure. Can you talk to us a little bit about deleted data on an extraction?
So depending on what type of extraction you're performing on a device will tell you how much deleted data you could possibly get. So a basic logical extraction, you're most likely, which is basic data, you're not going to get almost any deleted data. With an advanced logical, it's a combination of both the logical data but also a system backup. Whether it be an Android or an iPhone, your device actually contains a backup in case of system failure so you can help restore. And in that backup are some of those databases so that when you're, say you delete a message or a file, it actually just gets marked as deleted, but it's still there. And think of deleted data almost as you have a book and you have the table of contents, okay? And let's say you delete a chapter from the table of contents. Well, if you try to, if you ask the device or the machine to go to that chapter, it's saying it's not there. But the contents, the actual chapter is still there. It's just been marked as deleted. But the other factor when it comes to deleted data is when you're dealing with a mobile device, it's not like a disk drive that has spinning disks, or it's just a chip. And they use these terms such as wear leveling and garbage collection. And what it does is, and when data is marked as deleted, it gets moved to different parts of the chip. And the reason it does that is to prolong the life of your device, so that it's not keeping reading and writing to one particular location, which would burn out the chip. So sometimes when we can recover some deleted data that is, let's say, 2 years old, but a message, let's say, that was deleted yesterday is not recoverable, depending on how it was moved around the device.
And the user of the phone doesn't have any say over where that gets moved around in the device, is that right?
No, the only user, I'll say user interaction that they can do with regards to certain things is they can obviously delete something off of their phone manually, which means they go in and actually delete it. Or they set up certain settings in their phone for, let's say, like text messages or email that they want it purged after a certain period of time. Let's say like 30 days, a year, so that anything that is longer than that date automatically gets marked as deleted.
So when you're looking at an extraction report, are you able to tell when an item was deleted?
No. Not from an advanced logical extraction, no.
Which is the type of extractions that you do, is that right?
For this particular case, that's what I did, yes.
And you stated that you were able to, that you did subsequently perform analysis on the data that you received from Vanessa Pettigrew's phone, is that right?
That's correct.
And I believe you testified that you ran keyword searches?
That's correct.
And what words did you use for your keyword search?
I used Kathleen McLean and Ingolf and Harry Tuerk.
And were you able to find a contact?
Yes.
In Vanessa's phone?
Yes.
And what was that contact labeled for the search term Kathleen McLean?
It came up as Reiki Katie.
And was the corresponding phone number 339-222-9407?
Yes, that's correct.
Were you able to find the contact labeled under Ingolf or Harry Tuerk?
Yes.
Were you also able to find the corresponding number to be 617-694-8962?
That's correct.
As part of your analysis, did you create any reports?
Yes, I created an extraction report based on the contacts and communications between those two parties with Ms. Pettigrew.
And what did you do with that information?
It was transferred onto a DVD disc that was given to Sergeant Kukowski for further review as part of his investigation.
You stated, and at the time that you extracted Vanessa Pettigrew's phone, was Katie still missing?
Yes,
You said that you met with the second individual at the Dover Police Department that evening. Who was that?
it was Kurt Fanasteel.
And what did you do when you met with Kurt?
It was a similar process. He had given written consent to Sergeant Kukowski using Celebrite. I did an advanced logical extraction of his phone and did the same type of keyword searches and produced a Celebrite extraction report as a result of those keyword searches and burned it onto a DVD disc and gave it to Sergeant Kukowski for further review.
And again, Mr. Fanninstill gave you permission to extract the entire contents of his phone, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Did you also do a preliminary device report for Mr. Fanninstill's phone number?
Yes, I did.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as Commonwealth's Exhibit 325. Is that the preliminary device report for Kurt Fanninstill?
Yes, it is.
What type of device was Mr. Fanninstill's phone?
That was also an iPhone 11.
And were you able to identify it in the same way that you identified Vanessa Pettigrew's phone?
Yes, through IMEI.
You stated that did you take the same steps that you took with Ms. Pettigrew's phone?
Yes, I did.
So were you able to get the same type of information off of Mr. Fanninstill's phone?
Yes.
When you ran the key searches, were you able to find any contact information for Kathleen McLean?
Yes, I believe it said Dover, Harry/Katie, something to that effect.
And was that with the corresponding number 339-222-9407?
Yes, that's correct.
Were you able to find any corresponding contact information for the defendant, Ingolf Tuerk?
Yes.
And what was that contact labeled under?
I believe it was labeled Harry.
If I told you Dover Harry, would that sound correct?
Correct.
Okay. And was that corresponding number 617-694-8962?
That is correct.
And as part of your analysis, did you create any reports with Mr. Fanninstill's phone?
Yes, I've created a similar report, which basically was any communications between those two parties with Mr. Fanninstill, and that was compiled, put onto a DVD disc, and then given over to Sergeant Kukowski.
When you received consent to search Mr. Fanninstill's phone and he turned over his device, was Katie still missing?
Yes.
And during your interactions with this case, did you receive any other devices?
Yes, I received a device that was believed to belong to Miss McLean after they had, it was like a day or two later, after they had found her.
Prior to receiving a device that belonged to Katie McLean, did you also receive a device that belonged to the defendant?
Yes.
And with that, can you just explain to us what you did with that device?
So I attempted to do an extraction of that device, but when I started to do the extraction, that device had a security feature. It's called mobile device management. Mobile device management is an enterprise service that a lot of companies use if you have like a company-issued cell phone. So basically, it allows their IT department or that designee to, like, in case you lose your phone or it gets stolen, they can remotely wipe it. They can remove it from, like, let's say, access to the corporate network or any other features that they set up on that system.
What type of phone did you receive from the defendant?
I believe it was an iPhone 11.
And were you able to perform perform a full extraction on that phone?
No, I was not.
How much data were you able to recover?
I believe I just got the basic system data or basic outline of like the preliminary device data.
Were you able to do anything else with that device in order to try to do a full extraction?
So at the time of the investigation, it was our understanding, by other investigators, that Mr. Tuerk was trying to obtain employment with a company in Germany. I believe it was called Avantar Medical. Avantar Medical is based in Germany, and they do surgeries using like robotics. I did contact the company via telephone and asked them about the mobile device management that was installed on the device. They explained to me that the phone was Mr. Tuerk's phone and not a company phone, and they did have implement mobile device management, but only on the email, and that although they had initially met with Mr. Tuerk, that he had not started employment with them.
So you were still unable to get into the defendant's phone?
That is correct.
Did you take any other steps to try to extract the defendant's phone?
At that point, no.
What is Gray Key?
So Gray Key is a system of hardware and software that is basically used for phone extractions, but also used to brute force, which means basically when you take your device, it basically sends passwords to the device in the hopes of breaking the in hopes of matching the password. So basically, it'll start with, so if you have a 4-digit number, it'll start with 000111. It'll run all through 10,000 until it hits a password that matches yours, and then unlocks the device.
How long can it take?
It can take, well, so depending on the device and how long the password is, it can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 35 years.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm handing you what was pre-marked as Commonwealth's Exhibit 327. Is that the preliminary device report for the defendant's cell phone?
Yes, it is.
While you were working at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in the State Police Unit, were you able to examine the defendant's phone?
No, it's not.
Why not?
I had not been given any further passcodes, or for mobile device management, you actually need what they refer to as a MDM token, which is basically like a pairing key that will allow you to authenticate that device. So I was provided neither of those things, so from there I was not able to access the device.
Throughout this investigation, when you were working on the investigation, you stated that you did receive a cell phone belonging to Kathleen McLean, is that right?
That's correct.
Did you receive more than one phone?
Yes.
And what observations did you make of those two phones?
So we had one phone that was in good condition. The other phone was severely damaged, specifically in the screen area, but other parts of the device.
Were you able to extract any data off of the severely damaged phone?
No.
Why not?
Because in order to perform an extraction, you actually need to interact with the device on the screen, which is basically allowing it to trust, which is a pairing method, which allows you to allows the device to connect to our forensic tools.
What about the other phone?
So the other phone, I was able to using Gray Key. I did get a partial file system extraction.
How were you able to get a partial file extraction from Katie's phone, but not the defendant's phone?
Because the mobile device management would not allow that pairing to take place.
On the defendant's phone?
That's correct.
But it did allow it on Katie's phone?
Correct, because she didn't have that extra layer of security.
What type of phone was Katie's phone that you were able to get the extraction from?
I believe it was an iPhone 11.
And did you use the same steps for Katie's phone as you did for Vanessa and Kurt's phone?
No, I did not.
Can you describe the steps that you took with Katie's iPhone 11?
So for Katie's iPhone 11, I used Gray Key. Because the device had been left on, Gray Key was able to use that pairing, that limited pairing, and get a file system extraction, not a full file system extraction, but a file system extraction. So we were able to get a lot of user data off of that device.
But not all of it?
Not all of it, no.
Did you subsequently perform analysis on data from Katie's phone?
I don't recall that I did, no.
Why not?
I wasn't directed to at the time.
May I approach your honor?
May.
I'm showing you what was pre-marked as Commonwealth Exhibit 324. Is that the preliminary device report for Katie's iPhone 11?
Yes, it is.
When did you get reassigned from the Norfolk District Attorney's Office?
I believe September of 2020.
And are you aware that after you left the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, other people in the digital forensic unit were able to get into the defendant's phone and extract data from it?
I was told that that was happening, but usually just in passing.
But so you are aware of it?
I'm aware that my understanding is the phone is still like trying to obtain a password.
But you have not performed any analysis on the defendant's phone?
No, I have not.
Thank you. No further questions.
So, talking about the phones, for example, with Harry's phone, you determined that in fact the company from Germany was aware of that phone. They were aware of that, correct?
They are aware of the phone, yes.
And also you knew that he had been employed by St. Elizabeth's Hospital.
I was not aware of that, no.
You know about the company that's always in the trouble with St. Elizabeth's Hospital, Steward Healthcare. You know about them as far as owning these various devices, right?
I was not aware of that, no.
Okay, so you indicated that if there's some sensitive nature of work, that there could be an extra, I think you said an extra layer of security on the phone, correct?
That's correct, sir, yes.
So when you had access to Harry's phone, you determined that in fact there was this extra layer of security, right?
That is correct, sir, yes.
You in fact did try to use the brute force, is that the word, brute?
Yep, that's correct, sir.
Breaking something, brute force extraction. And in fact, ultimately from us, you received a password, isn't that right?
I did not receive a password from you, sir, no. I was no longer working there if that happened.
Okay, who was picking up after you, if you know?
I'm not sure who was assigned to the case after I left.
Now, you also had occasion to use the brute force extraction technique, if that's appropriate, on Ms. McLean's phone, is that correct?
That is correct, sir, yes.
You didn't get very far with that either, right?
I got some data, sir, but not. I will not say I got all of it.
All right. Now, when you are dealing with cell phones, one of the things that you made reference to is that you conducted a full extraction. Is that correct?
Well, there's a full file system extraction. I did not do any of that on these phones.
Okay, that's what it's called. It's called a full file extraction, right?
That's correct, sir, yes.
And that is far more encompassing, if you will, than what you had performed, right?
That is correct, sir, yes.
Can you tell us why you didn't do a full file extraction?
For the reasons that I am aware of,
Yeah.
first of all, it was at that time, when the phone is usually done on consent, it's up to the investigator to tell us how they want that done. So that would have been Sergeant Kukowski's call. If he had told me that he had wanted everything, I would have brought it back to the office and done that.
I see.
Secondly, at this time, it was a missing persons case, and they were more concerned with just the communications, who was talking to who prior. That's my understanding.
Okay, so when you were involved in the missing persons aspect of the case, it was on the 15th, is that right?
That's correct, sir, yes.
And then you continued to be involved in the 16th, 17th, 18th, into the following week, into the following month, correct?
I don't think I was involved in the following month. I did it for the next few days after they had given...
After the body was discovered, right?
Correct, yes.
And in fact, the homicide investigation was open, right?
That's correct.
So as a result of knowing it's no longer a missing person, it's now a homicide investigation, did you then attempt in any fashion to do the full file system extraction?
No, I did not, sir.
You indicated that one of the things that you were able to do is access Vanessa Pettigrew's phone, and as a result of that, you were able to get information regarding Harry Tuerk's telephone number and McLean's telephone number. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And what you did was was advanced logical extraction?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So when you performed the advanced logical extraction, that was when you were able to determine various phones that were connected, like when you make a phone call or you send a text, they're connected to another phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were able to see that Pettigrew was in fact in touch with Harry Tuerk, correct?
Yes.
Pettigrew was in touch with McLean, correct?
Yes.
Was Pettigrew in touch with Kurt Vandersteel?
I don't recall, sir.
In the course of the investigation, let's say once you had opportunity to meet with, for example, Mr. Vandersteel, do you recall where you met with him?
It was at the Dover Police Station, sir.
And Mr. Vandersteel provided access to his phone, is that correct?
That's correct.
You also had access at some point to Ms. McLean's phone, correct?
Yes.
Now, when you had access to Mr. Vandersteel's phone, did you determine that in fact there had been a significant number of connections or contacts between the two of them, either by email or text or something?
I remember there was definitely connections, but I don't know. I can't tell you exactly how many.
All right. Do you have any notes or anything written down that would refresh your memory?
No.
If I suggest to you that there were 5,173 messages between Ms. McLean's phone, strike that, Mr. Vandersteel's phone and Ms. McLean's phone, would that refresh your memory?
If you're saying it is, then I have no idea how many connections there were, how many text messages there were, or calls or whatnot.
Would you have the recollection, sir, that when you looked at Ms. McLean's phone, however, there were only 12 messages between her and Kurt Vandersteel?
Once again, sir, I don't know how many actual communications there were between both parties.
Did you independently read the content of the phones when you extracted them?
No, I did not.
Did you, on McLean's phone, for example, did you have occasion to, I don't know if the word is download or obtain, photographs off the phone?
I believe so.
Yes. And emails off the phone?
I believe so.
And various websites that were accessed on a number of occasions off the phone, correct?
I'm sure I had internet history on there, sure.
And you knew from the time frame that we're dealing with would be March, strike that, May 15th was the date that you initially got involved in the missing persons examination, right?
Yes.
And then it continued on into a homicide examination, correct?
That is correct.
You know that Ms. McLean was married at the time to Harry Tuerk, correct?
I knew they were married, yes.
Yes. And did it come to your attention that there were communications between Ms. McLean and other men regarding...
Objection.
Let him finish the question. Just don't answer right away, sir. Go ahead.
Regarding exchanging photographs? What are you aware of on these phones?
As I said in my report, sir,
Overruled. He can answer.
as I said in my report, sir, I provided the data to the homicide investigators so that they could review it. My job at that point was not to review the data or to come up with any conclusions or connections. They asked me to download the device and look for communications between 3 people for each device, which I did.
Okay, I understand. And basically that would be your instructions and that's what you adhere to, correct?
That is correct.
And you indicated something that if you were asked to, I believe, okay, that you were not directed to do further examination, that you could have done further examination.
I certainly could have if I was directed to, sure.
And you were not directed to by anybody in the DA's office.
That is correct, sir.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor. The exhibits.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to the court and the jury in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Matthew Sheehan, Sheehan.
How are you currently employed?
I am a forensic scientist at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab.
And how long have you been so employed?
12 years.
Could you describe for the jurors your educational background?
I have a Bachelor's of Science in Forensic Science with a concentration in chemistry from the University of New Haven.
And have you had any particular specialized training in the field of forensics?
Yes.
Can you explain that, please?
The initial one-year training period entering the lab, it consists of several different chapters, if you will, each one dedicated to its own area of criminalistics. At the end of each chapter, a written exam, an oral exam, and a mock item of evidence is done by the analyst to demonstrate their ability to apply proper protocol. At the end of all the chapters, we have a final written exam, a final oral, as well as a complex mock case where we demonstrate our ability to apply all of the protocols to a complex case.
And let's move back a little bit. Can you explain what is criminalistics?
Criminalistics is the unit that I am assigned to.
Okay, and what does criminalistics mean?
It is the application of science to physical items of evidence.
And is that a similar term to forensics?
Yes.
And you just described some of the examinations that you took at the crime lab. Can you explain what is a competency test?
The comp test is something done as like the first test to show that an analyst has their ability to do all the proper tests and protocols.
And what is a proficiency test?
A proficiency test is done once a year in a specific area of criminalistics to demonstrate that the analyst still has the ability and is still applying the protocols properly.
And are those part of the protocols at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory?
Yes.
And are there steps taken at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory to protect against contamination?
Yes.
Can you explain what those are?
In the criminalistics unit, we use proper PPE, with like a lab coat, masks. We use bleach to clean our work materials and our workspace in between items of evidence and in between cases.
Is there a review process?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Our review process for every case goes through a technical review as well as an administrative review. In the technical review, a second trained analyst will look at your file to ensure that a sound forensic investigation has been completed and you followed all proper protocols. The second is an administrative review where a third analyst will look at your file for any type of administrative errors.
Can you please explain how the lab keeps track of evidence that is within its custody?
When a case is submitted to a lab, it is given its own unique lab number in which all of the evidence submitted can then be put under that lab number and tracked via our computer system.
And then what happens with each individual item?
As an item comes into a lab, it's given an item number designated as what submission it is from and what item of evidence it is from that submission. As an example, if submission 1 has 5 items, it would be items number 1-1, 1-2, up to 5. If it's the third submission, it would be 3-1, 3-2, etc.
Directing your attention to May 15th of 2020, did you have the opportunity to respond to the towns of Dedham and Dover?
Yes.
And why did you respond to an area that was outside of the lab?
Now, I am also assigned to the crime scene response unit.
And what is that?
We respond to various crime scenes ranging from breaking and entering all the way up through multiple homicide. We examine and document the crime scenes for biological evidence and physical evidence and transport it back to the lab.
And what hours are those?
It is a 24/7 on-call shift.
Okay. And so on May 15th, were you responding in connection with that assignment?
Yes.
Okay. Where was the first place that you went?
I responded to a residence inn located in Dedham, Massachusetts.
A residence inn?
Yes.
And did you obtain a crime lab number in connection with your response?
Yes, I did.
And what was that crime lab number?
It was 20-10428.
Can we just have a minute?
Yes.
Excuse me, I misspoke.
Okay. 10486?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And when you respond to an area, generally, what is the process that you follow?
I will document the overall area using a sketch and then mark specific areas of specific areas I want to test for biological testing or physical evidence.
Okay. May I approach your Honor?
You may.
Sorry, could I just have a minute, please?
You may.
I'm handing you what's been marked GG for identification. Do you recognize those?
Yes, I do.
What are those?
These are copies of my crime scene notes.
Okay. Would it be helpful to refer to those in connection with your testimony here today?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, can those be displayed overhead as Mr. Sheehan testifies?
I think he can testify, if he refreshes memory from them.
All right, so you're objecting to them?
Yeah, those are his diagrams. his
He can
notes.
refer to them.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, using the screen or no?
No, there's an objection to using the screen, correct?
Yes.
All right.
When you responded to the residents in, what is the first thing that you did?
I made initial note of the layout of the room.
Okay, and what did you observe?
In the kitchen area, I observed a table that had a red-brown stain on it, along with various medical debris and paper towels with red-brown staining on them.
Okay, and what, if anything else, did you observe?
I also did blood testing in the room.
All right, and let's just start with the red-brown stain on the table. What, if anything, did you do with regard to that?
I conducted a screening test for the presence of blood on that stain.
And when you say screening test, what does that mean?
A screening test is done on a particular stain or questioned area to determine if a biological sample may be present.
And how do you do that?
This test is a two-step color test where a small amount of question sample is transferred onto a piece of filter paper, which is just like a coffee filter. And after the addition of several chemicals, if there's an immediate bright blue color change, the test is positive. If there's no color change or a color change something to other than that bright blue color, the test is negative.
Okay, and what were the results of that?
The screening test for the presence of blood was positive on that red-brown stain on the table.
Okay. And with regard to the paper towels, what, if anything, did you do?
I did not do testing on the paper towels.
Okay. And with regard to what other areas did you test?
I also tested the knobs and drain of the kitchen sink, and the bathroom sink, and the shower.
And what were the results of those?
The screening test was positive on the knobs in the bathroom and the shower knobs.
And when you are present doing your testing, are there additional personnel from crime scene services who are documenting those items?
Yes.
Okay. And are they taking photographs?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to publish what's been previously marked as exhibit number 21.
Yes.
get the lights off, please? All right, thank you. And what can be shown in this photograph?
This is standing in the entranceway of room number 228. To the right is the kitchen area, and to the left is the living slash office area.
Could we have exhibit 22, please? And what is in exhibit 22?
This is showing the kitchen area and the table that I had referred to with the red-brown stain, looking at it from the entrance.
Could we have exhibit 23, please?
This is from standing in the living area looking into the bedroom area.
And could we have exhibit 24, please? What's in exhibit 24?
This is at the table and couch in the living area.
Exhibit 25, please?
This is from the back corner behind the bed looking in the opposite direction from the entrance.
Exhibit 26, please?
This is from the same spot looking into the bathroom.
Exhibit 27, please?
This appears to be one of the sides of the mattress looking at a nightstand.
Exhibit 28, please?
From that same position in front of the bathroom looking across the bed to the back wall.
We have exhibit 29, please?
This is in the entrance of the bathroom looking towards the shower.
And can you see the sink that you did the swabbing on?
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit 30, please?
This is in the bathroom, the picture of the toilet.
Exhibit 31, please?
This is from the entrance into the shower area looking back into the bedroom area.
Exhibit 32, please?
These are items that were on the bathroom counter.
Exhibit 33, please?
A close-up picture of the sink.
Exhibit 34, please?
This is one of the nightstands in the room.
Exhibit 35, please?
This appears to be the desk in the room.
Exhibit 36, please?
And this is from the table that was in the kitchen.
Can we have exhibit 37, please?
Another angle of the table in the kitchen.
And can you see the paper towels with red brown stains on that?
Yes.
Exhibit 37, please? Oh, this is 37, sorry. Could we have 38, please?
This is a close-up of the paper towels with the red-brown staining on them.
Could we have 39, please?
This is one of the trash barrels.
Exhibit number 40?
This appears to be the kitchen counter.
Exhibit number 41?
The kitchen counter as well.
Exhibit 42, please?
It appears to be a closet.
Exhibit 43, please?
This is also a closet.
Exhibit 44?
Another storage area inside of the room.
Exhibit 45, please?
This appears to be one of the boxes inside of that storage area.
Exhibit 46, please?
The sink inside of the bathroom.
Exhibit 47, please?
This is the sink knobs that I had tested.
And exhibit 48?
Close-up of the sink knob.
Exhibit 49, please?
This is the shower knobs.
And exhibit 50, please?
Another angle inside of the shower.
Exhibit 51, please?
A close-up of the shower knob.
Exhibit number 52, please?
This is the shower.
And exhibit number 53?
An overview of the shower.
All right, thank you. We can have the lights back on, please. So when you left the residence inn, what, if anything, did you take with you?
I collected a set of swabs from the red-brown stain on the table, as well as a set of swabs from the bathroom sink knob and the shower knob.
And how did you do that?
I used a set of cotton swabs with deionized water.
Okay. And were those swabs given item numbers?
Yes.
What, do you recall those item numbers?
Item number 1-1 was from the red brown stain on the table. I believe 1-2 was from the sink knob, and 1-3 was the shower knob.
Do you recall about what time you arrived at the residence inn in Dedham, I'm sorry?
Approximately 1:15 in the morning.
And about what time did you leave?
I believe it was around 4 o'clock.
4 a.m.
Yes.
on the 16th?
Yes.
And where did you go next?
Was 29 Valley Road in Dover.
And about what time did you get there?
I arrived approximately 5 a.m.
Your Honor, could we approach?
Yes.
Mr. Sheehan, when you create your diagrams and notes, are those to scale?
No.
Okay. And, Your Honor, at this time, could we just have those 2 pages of GG displayed one at a time as Mr. Sheehan testifies?
Yes.
Okay, could we have the first floor, please? Can you zoom in just a little bit? Great, thank you. Mr. Sheehan, do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize this to be?
This is one of the pages of my crime scene notes.
Okay. Do you have a laser pointer there? I don't know if we left it there from last week.
I do not.
Oh, great, thank you. All right, can you just sort of orient us in the first floor about what the different rooms are on there?
To the left of the house was an attached garage. From entering the garage, you go into a mudroom with a bathroom directly across from you. To your left is the kitchen along the back side of the house with a living room followed by another office. When going through the kitchen to the right, you go through a wet bar to the front of the house where a dining room was, followed by a foyer with a staircase to the second floor and a second living room.
All right. And so you documented the layout of 29 Valley Road. What else is contained in your notes?
I also noted some sort of unknown black material that was on the floor that extended from the mudroom into the second floor.
And how did you document that on this diagram?
I used the asterisk symbol.
Okay. And one of those asterisks is, I don't know if that's the correct plural, but one of those asterisks has a red circle around it. What does that indicate?
That indicates that I collected a sample of this black material from the floor.
And how did you do that?
I had used a scalpel and cut it out from the floor.
Okay. And what did you do with that?
I packaged that and transported it back to the lab at the end of my scene exam.
Okay. And could we have the next diagram, please? And what can be seen in this diagram, Mr. Chairman?
This is the second floor, coming out from the first floor foyer. To the right, you have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Directly across from you is a laundry room with another set of stairs leading to the 3rd floor. And to the left is the bedroom and the master bedroom at the end of the hall.
All right. And there's 1 red circle on this diagram as well, is that correct?
Yes.
What does that indicate?
That is another area of the unknown black material that I collected.
All right, I'm sorry, could I approach, please, Mr. Sheehan? I'm sorry, Your Honor, can we approach one more time?
Yes.
All right, and could we please have the 3rd diagram of just the master bedroom? All right, and what did you document in this diagram, Mr. Sheehan?
I noted a different areas of the unknown black material extending from the hallway to the bed area, as well as 2 red-brown stains on the mattress, as well as what appeared to be a broken drinking glass.
Okay, and Ms. Gilman, I think, can you just zoom in the area of the bed? Great, thank you. There are some numbers on this diagram as well. What do those numbers correlate to?
The number 5 refers to a set of what appeared to be broken glass that was on the floor, and number 3 designates the areas of red-brown staining on the bed.
And do those numbers correlate with the placards that Crime Scene Services placed?
I believe so.
Okay. And so, did you, you said that you documented some red-brown stains as well?
Yes.
And where were those located?
These are the areas marked in red, number 1 and number 2.
And what, if anything, did you do with regards to those?
I did a screening test for the presence of blood, which is the same test that I had done in the hotel room.
And what was the result?
Both stains had tested positive, indicating the presence of blood.
And so then what, if anything, did you do?
I took a sample from both of the stains.
And how did you do that?
I used a scalpel to cut it out of the bed.
And the asterisk that has a circle, a red circle around it, what, if anything, did you do with regard to that?
That was the 3rd area of this unknown black material that I had collected.
You can take that down and have the lights back on, please. And so what items did you collect from 29 Valley Road?
I had the cuttings from the red-brown stains on the bed, red-brown stains number 1 and number 2, as well as the 3 different areas of the unknown black material from the floor.
Okay. And approximately what time did you finish at 29 Valley Road?
Approximately 6:30 a.m.
And so where, if anywhere, did you go next?
I reported back to the lab to submit initial evidence before reporting back to Dedham Police Department to examine 2 vehicles.
And so what time did you go to the Dedham Police Department?
It was approximately 12 p.m.
And when you went to the Dedham Police Department, what, if anything, did you do there?
I examined two vehicles, a white Jeep and a gray Mercedes.
Where were they?
They were at the Dedham PD.
Okay. And similarly, was there, or were there troopers from Crime Scene Services there as well?
Yes.
And with regard to the Mercedes, what, if anything, did you do?
I made overall observations as well as conducted a screening test for the presence of blood on the interior of the vehicle.
And when you say the interior, what do you mean by that?
It was essentially almost the entire interior, anything that would be touched when you are using the inside of the vehicle, such as door handles, the HVAC and radio controls, the seats themselves, seat belts. It was almost everything inside.
Was there any visible red-brown stains on the Mercedes?
No.
Okay. And what were the results of your screening tests on the Mercedes?
The screening test was negative on everything inside of the vehicle.
Okay. And did you also examine the white Jeep?
Yes.
And was there any visible red-brown stains on the white Jeep?
No, I did note a red-brown stain that was on the steering wheel.
And did you perform screening tests on the white Jeep?
Yes, I did.
What areas of the white Jeep?
It was on the red-brown stain on the steering wheel, as well as the interior door handles, and the remainder of the interior cab area.
Were there any items contained within the Jeep that you conducted screening tests?
Yes.
What items contained within this Jeep?
There was a bottle of alcohol and a knife on the passenger side seat.
And what were the results of that?
The screening test was negative for the presence of blood on these items.
Were there items that tested positive?
Yes.
And what areas of that?
I tested positive on the red-brown stain on the steering wheel, on the HVAC and radio controls, as well as the exterior door handles of the driver's side, passenger side, and the trunk.
Your Honor, at this time could be display what's been previously marked as exhibit number 89.
Sorry.
Exhibit number 89.
Yes.
And could we have the lights off? Thank you. What is this?
This is the white Jeep that I examined.
Could we have exhibit number 90, please?
This the back passenger side of the Jeep.
Exhibit number 91, please.
Another angle of the back of the Jeep.
Exhibit 92, please.
This is the back driver's side of the Jeep.
And exhibit number 93.
The front driver's side of the Jeep.
Exhibit number 94.
This is the driver's side looking into the Jeep.
Exhibit number 95, please.
Another angle looking into the Jeep.
Exhibit number 96, please.
A close-up of the steering wheel.
Exhibit number 97.
This is the center console and gear shift area.
Exhibit number 98.
This is the radio and HVAC system.
And exhibit number 99, please.
This is the trunk.
Exhibit 100, please.
A close-up of the trunk area.
Exhibit 101.
This is the interior passenger side door.
Exhibit 102, please.
The interior passenger side.
Exhibit 103, please.
A close-up of the passenger side seat.
And exhibit 104, please.
A different angle of the passenger side area.
Exhibit 105, please.
Close-up of the alcohol bottle and knife that were on the seat.
106, please.
After moving the alcohol bottle, this is where the knife was found.
Exhibit 107.
A close-up of the knife.
Exhibit 108.
The HVAC and radio controls.
Exhibit 109.
This is the Mercedes that I examined.
Exhibit 110, please.
The backside of the Mercedes.
Exhibit 111.
The back driver side of the Mercedes.
Exhibit 112.
So this is the front driver area of the Mercedes.
Exhibit 113.
The rear passenger area.
And exhibit 114.
The rear trunk area.
Can we have exhibit 115?
This is the interior looking at it from the passenger side.
And 116, please.
This appears to be the front passenger side.
Regarding the Jeep, did you have the opportunity to observe the position of the seat? The driver's side seat, I should say.
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
From what I recall, the seat was pushed all the way back.
Can we have exhibit number 95 again? And does that show the position of this seat?
Yes.
We can take those down and could have the lights back on, please. So what items did you take from the Dedham police station?
I collected a set of 5 swabs. One set of swabs was from the red-brown stain on the steering wheel, another set from the radio and HVAC controls, and then another set of swabs from each of the exterior door handles, the driver's side, passenger side, and the trunk.
Okay. And then at a certain point in time, were you assigned to be the criminalist in connection with this case?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
The criminalist works on the physical evidence that has been submitted to the lab by the Crime Scene Response Unit and various local agencies.
And is it typical that that is centralized?
Yes.
And are there sometimes when there's multiple criminalists out in the field and just one person at the lab doing the bench work?
That's correct.
Okay. But in this case, you had done all of the collection work and the testing in the field, and then you were assigned to do the bench work at the lab.
Yes.
And what is item selection?
An item selection is after a criminal examines a case, they figure out what samples to send forward for DNA testing.
And what's the purpose of that?
This purpose is to create forensic links in an investigation.
What do you mean by forensic links?
Generally, in order to create a forensic link, you have to have some sort of connection between a victim, a suspect, the evidence, and the crime scene. A sound forensic investigation can be considered complete when a link has been made between those 4 things.
And what is the role of item selection in determining which items move forward for DNA?
Multitude of different things. You have to consider case history as well as the forensic results that you got from testing.
So in this case, what items did you do testing on and back at the lab?
I did a confirmatory test for the presence of blood from the swab of red-brown stains that was on the table in the hotel room, as well as from the red-brown stain number 1 that was taken from the mattress at 29 Valley Road.
And when you say confirmatory test, what does that mean?
A confirmatory test is done on a specific area that has been screened positive for the presence of a biological material, and this test confirms the presence of that biological material.
And is it a different test than the screening test?
Yes.
What kind of test is it?
So this test works very similar to a pregnancy test, where a small amount of sample is put onto a solution and then into a test card. And after the period of 10 minutes, if the card shows 1 line, the test is negative, and if there's 2 lines, the test is positive.
And why didn't you examine the other swabs?
The particular amount of material that was on the swabs or material, in my opinion, was not enough to do further testing, so I only prepared those for further DNA testing in order to preserve the evidence.
Okay. And so which items did you prepare for DNA testing?
All of the swabs that I had collected from the different areas that I examined at the scenes.
And when you say all of the swabs, does that include the scrapings from the floor?
No, those are samples that would be sent to the trace unit if there was an item of evidence that was submitted for comparison to those items.
So all of the swabs that were sent forward for DNA, was that because they potentially contained biological evidence?
Yes.
And so which, those swabs, those were taken from what areas?
The swabs were from the red-brown stain on the table in the hotel room, as well as the swabs from the knobs in the bathroom sink and shower. The 5 swabs from the white Jeep, which was from the red-brown stain on the steering wheel, the HVAC and radio controls, and the exterior door handles.
With regard to the cutting from the mattress, what, if anything, did you do with regard to that?
I conducted the confirmatory test for the presence of blood on that item as well.
And what were the results of that?
It was positive, confirming the presence of blood, indicating human blood.
All right, and I should have asked the confirmatory test that you did on the swab from the table, what was the result of that?
Also confirmed positive for the presence of blood.
So we learned from the cutting from red brown stain number 1, after the confirmatory test, what, if anything, did you do?
I took a small cutting from that particular stain and sent it forward for DNA testing.
And did you prepare any other items for DNA testing?
Yes, I did.
What items were those?
I also prepared a blood standard from the OCME's office to be used as a known DNA standard to be compared to our question samples. This sample was from a Kathleen McLean.
And were there any other known DNA standards?
That I prepared, no.
Was there a known, at some point, was there a known DNA standard from Ingolf Tuerk?
Yes.
And did you have any other items from the medical examiner that you did any work on?
I also examined a set of fingernail clippings from the right and left hands of Kathleen McLean.
And what, if anything, did you do with those?
I swabbed both sets individually for the presence, or to recover the possibility of skin cells, and those were also sent forward for DNA testing.
And were you able to determine, before sending them forward for DNA, were you able to determine whether or not there were skin cells on the fingernail cuttings?
No.
And as you were doing your report, your work, were you taking photographs or making any notes?
Yes.
And can you explain that?
As with any forensic exam in the lab, we have to take photos of the item of evidence to show the condition that it is in as we receive it. We then use those photos to as our notes pages.
And what, if anything, did you do after all of that work?
After completing my exam in the lab, I wrote my report and made the proper assignments for DNA testing and submitted it for review.
Your Honor, can I submit it, please?
Yes.
All right, so how long have you been a crime scene investigator, sir?
For almost 12 years now.
And obviously you indicated that you went to the academy first, right?
I did not.
Oh,
I am a civilian. I did not go to the State Police Academy.
your experience goes with the state police, right?
Yes.
And your experience would be in what is referred to as the crime lab, right?
Yes.
And you were also educated in college, and you told us about your background in that regard, correct?
Correct.
Now, have you done anything other than try to document crime scenes and secure evidence for people like jurors to be able to look at the time of a trial?
No, I was hired right out of school at the crime lab.
All right. And what's your level now? You guys have different levels.
I am a forensic scientist 3.
Okay. So you've got a lot of experience.
Yes.
When you were first detailed, if you will, that would be by who? A state trooper, a detective? Was it Kwiatkowski, for example?
I believe he was the case officer
Okay.
for this case, and then I was just assigned to that particular day of crime scene response on call shift.
All right, so when you were assigned for the response, you have to get up to speed, as it were. You got to find out what's going on, right?
Yes.
You talk to Krakowski or somebody else?
I believe at the time it was Trooper Alex Sow, and I met with him at the Residence Inn.
Now, when you were first involved with this investigation, were you investigating, according to the District Attorney's Office of the State Police, a homicide, or was it a missing person?
Missing persons.
And when was it that the missing person investigation turned into a homicide investigation? Was it the next day?
I believe Miss McLean's body was not found until the day after I completed my examination at the scenes.
16th, right?
Yes.
But it's fair to say that you continued on with your involvement as a crime scene investigator for the state police on this investigation.
Yes.
When you went to you started off in your direct examination going to the hotel room at the Residence Inn, right?
Yes.
And you indicated that you observed, I guess would be paper towels with what appeared to be red-brown stain on them.
Yes.
You indicated that on that occasion, as well as other occasions, you did what was called a test to determine, a preliminary test to determine whether or not it could be blood, correct?
Correct.
Now that test, for example, is not a confirmatory test. That is just a screening test, correct?
Yes.
Whether or not it's you're screening for a red-brown stain that could be on a piece of wood like this desk or a pen like this, or paper towels, you're looking to screen to see whether or not there's a possibility that the red-brown stain could, in fact, be blood.
Yes.
And that's called, what is it, orthotolidine test?
Yes. That was the test that we used at the time.
The orthotolidine test is when it turns blue, and if it turns blue, then you can infer that it might be blood, correct?
Correct.
Could also be dog feces, right?
I would suppose it depend on what the dog ate, I believe.
So you agree with me?
Yes.
All right. And it could also be copper, it could also be cleaning materials from under a sink, anything like that, right?
Cleaning materials would react with the test differently, so it would give an inconclusive result.
Inconclusive, all right. So that's why you have to then go and do the confirmatory test, right?
Yes.
And the confirmatory test would then exclude all those other things that we were talking about, false positives, for example, and confirm that in fact it is blood, right?
Yes.
And is that the Takayama test or one of those tests to see if it's human blood?
This test was the hemotrace test, I believe it was called. Yes.
And the hemotrace test you performed, and it did indeed confirm, for example, that the red-brown stain that was on the paper towels was indeed human blood, correct?
It was on the stain on the table, not the paper towels.
Okay, what about you didn't test the red towels?
No.
But nevertheless, you did see, in your experience, extensive as it is, what appears to be human blood on the red towels that were, paper towels that were on the table, right?
Yes.
And then there was a drop, or was it a puddle, or what was it? How much?
I don't recall the appearance of it. It's just
So
red
in any
brown.
event, it appeared pretty apparent that it was pooled blood at some point on that table, correct?
At some point, a red brown stain was deposited on that
A
spot.
sample of that.
Yes.
You tested that.
Yes.
It turned out to be confirmed. It was on the confirmatory test that indeed it was human blood, correct?
It was blood. The test itself only confirms the presence of blood and indicates the presence of human blood.
Okay, so you have a test now that confirms or indicates the presence of human blood, correct?
It would just be blood.
Blood.
Yes, the test itself reacts with.
Would it?
The test itself reacts also with ferret blood as well as different types of primate.
Different types of primate, like monkeys?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have another test that you go to determine if it's not a monkey and it might be a human being?
We can, however, in this most scenarios, we just take a sample and then it would be DNA tested.
So there was DNA testing.
Yes,
And you know there was DNA testing.
there was.
And you know, in fact, it turned out to be Harry's blood, right?
I don't read the DNA reports.
How about the knife? Was there a knife that you observed on the table?
I don't recall if there was or not.
Recall that there was what appears to be blood on the knife that was on the table in the hotel room?
No, I don't recall that.
Did you know that in fact that he had cut his wrists in the hotel room?
I was not made aware of that.
So is it your testimony to this jury that you did not see a knife with what appears to be red-brown stains in that hotel room?
Yes, if I did, I would have tested and or directed someone else to collect it. Yes.
Okay. You then continued to, as we went through with all of the photographs, to show the room itself, the hotel room, the bed, the pillows, the bathroom, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
You did do swabs on the bathroom fixtures, turn the hot water on, things like that, right?
Yes.
Nothing in the bathroom. There was no red-brown stains or anything in the hotel bathroom at all, correct?
Correct.
Fair to say that you finished your examination of the bathroom and then moved on to the house in Dover.
Yes.
Now, for example, the items such as the paper with the red-brown stain, where are they now? Do we have those?
I'm not aware if we have them or not.
Okay, so where do you guys keep physical evidence on a murder case?
It would be for all the stuff that is collected by the crime lab would be stored in our evidence storage areas.
All right, do you do something like a trace, so like you have a letter or a number so you can follow and trace?
If it is collected, yes, but we did not collect the red-brown stains on the paper towels.
Okay, and you don't know anything about a knife with red-brown stains on it, right?
Correct.
So was there anything to your knowledge that you, when I say you, I mean collectively, obviously, seized as police investigators from that hotel room?
Just objection as to form.
Sustained. Just rephrase it, Mr. Reddington, please.
Okay, so in any event, you then moved on to the property in Dover, correct?
Yes.
Now, when you went into the property in Dover, the first thing you made reference to in your testimony is that there was, I guess you said, an unknown black material extending between the mudroom on the first floor and the bed area of the master bedroom, right?
Correct.
And there was some type of a pattern of the black material, correct?
From what I recall, yes.
All right. You'd agree with me that photographs were taken of these items, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that they appear to be small, little black marks on the floor, correct?
Yeah, they're very small, circular-like.
Did you look in other rooms as well, you know, like downstairs, the gym, or in the room in the kitchen, or any of the other rooms that might have been in the house?
Just that main area on the first floor and extending up to the master bedroom.
That was it, right?
Yes.
Okay. You then made a case, you noted that there was a distance between the black marks. In other words, on some occasions there'd be like one black mark on the stairs, another there'd be like two black marks on the stairs, correct?
I do recall that, but I did not write that down in my notes.
Would you agree with me that they appear to be sometimes on occasion would actually be like a foot apart? One black mark and the next black mark would be, according to the little arrows in those rulers, about a foot apart.
Yes, roughly.
All right, in any event, sir, as a crime scene investigator, you went into the multi-story home, you made observation of the unknown black material, correct?
Yes.
Took your scalpel and you scraped it off, right?
Correct.
You did not notice any smearing or streaking of the black marks at all, did you?
From what I recall, no.
You know that when Harry was arrested, ultimately that there was some personal property that he had, such as clothing that was in his hotel room, right?
I would assume so, yes.
How about footwear? Did you have occasion to know that he was wearing sandals?
I don't know what type of footwear he was wearing.
Was any footwear that Harry was wearing ever examined?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you know whether or not it was seized? Do we have that somewhere in a bag somewhere?
I'm not sure.
Well, you're the only one that would know that, right?
No, there are plenty of people in the investigation. My job was to specifically collect forensic material and submit it to the lab. Sometimes there are evidence that's collected by different agencies that is not submitted to the lab.
So when you say that sometimes your obligation would be to submit material that you collect, because obviously you don't know until you submit it to a lab what it is, right?
Correct.
So when you submitted the unknown black material that you scraped with the scalpel to the lab, what was the result on that?
To my knowledge, there was no testing done.
There's no testing done?
On the unknown black material, correct.
So we don't know what it is?
Yes.
Yes, we don't know what it is.
Correct.
Okay. Also, there's been some testimony, if I suggest, sir, that there were some hairs that were found on the bed. Strike that. Hairs that were found on the stairs. Do you recall that, sir, at all?
There was a clump of what appeared to be a set of hairs.
All right, so when you're using the expression a clump of hairs, are you suggesting that they appear as though they were like ripped out of someone's head and they're a clump of hair, or are they just a couple of hairs that were on the stairs?
Looked like a set of hairs that were just essentially like a tumbleweed sitting on the stairs. Yes.
And you know that there was a dog, Cooper, big, huge lab.
I did not know that.
See hairs elsewhere in the house, and the furniture and the floors elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you learn in the academy and through your straight the academy, one of the things that you learn is that it's pretty simple for one to actually do a test, a microscopic examination of a hair to reveal morphological features that can distinguish very basically human hair from the hair of an animal, correct?
Yes.
Was there any testing done on the tumbleweed's hair on the stairs to determine if in fact it came from Cooper as opposed to a human being?
No.
When you go up the stairs, you'd agree that they're kind of narrow and they're somewhat steep. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
When you go up the stairs, at the very top of the stairs, there's like a dog thing, one of those guides that's on the, if you remember.
I don't recall if there was or not. Yeah.
You recall that when you get to the top of the stairs, that you hook a left and you go straight ahead into the bedroom, master bedroom.
Yes.
Now, on that same floor, there were other smaller rooms, like kids' rooms. They had like music, things on the wall, and posters and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
And then you go into the master bedroom, and of course you noted that the door frame was cracked from the police when they used it to enter into the room with a Halligan tool, correct?
I don't recall if I noted it or not, but I do recall seeing it.
Do you recall whether or not you did see it, that it was broken?
I did see it, yes.
All right. And then you go into the bedroom, and then straight on is the bed itself, correct?
Yes.
And then to the left of the bed, as you're looking at the bed, would be a piece of furniture, like not a nightstand, like a dressing thing, right?
Yes.
And then to the right of the bed would be the area where the bathroom is, correct?
Correct.
Now, on the bed itself, that's where very apparent, is almost a pattern of a round, like a seepage of what appears to be a red-brown stain on the bed, right?
I don't know how the stain was made on the bed.
You know what?
I don't know how it was made.
How it
It
was
was
made. I'm just asking what it looked like.
I would estimate, from my recollection, approximately 4 inches wide.
Okay. And was it a pattern, like in other words, like a round deposit on the bed itself, if you recall?
Round would be a good explanation of it.
Okay. And you also noted that there was a lot of bedclothes that were on the side of the bed. Looking at what is Exhibit 283, sir. I'm just going to approach you and ask if this is a fair. You can hold it up. Well, that's what that is.
Marked exhibit?
Yes.
Yes.
283. And just show the jurors, please. Just that would be the area of the. Kind of push it a little more so people down here can see. There you go. That's the bed, right?
Yes.
Show us where the large stain on the bed that appeared to be the red-brown stain was located.
There are 2 stains. One is somewhat visible here, and the other one was further up on the bed here.
When you say somewhat visible, that's because it's bigger, right?
Because of the angle.
Okay. Now, you see there's bedclothes on the floor itself, correct?
Yes.
You know how those got there?
I don't.
Did you examine them?
From what I recall, yes.
Okay. Was there anything of interest, any red-brown stains there?
If there was, I would have noted it.
You would have noted it?
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't note it?
No.
Okay. Now, you also indicated that there was some glass about the end of the bed itself, right?
Yes.
Now, looking at that exhibit, sir, would you agree that that shows the end of the bed? And also, you can see from that distance, the shattered glass that was on the floor by the headboard, by the end board of the bed, right?
Yes.
Now, what happened to that glass? Do we have that?
We do not. Or I do not at the crime lab.
At the crime lab. Okay. Do you know where it is? Did anyone seize it?
I'm not sure if anybody else had seized it. I did not.
Okay. You told the jurors that one of the things that you recall, sir, in approaching you with, I don't think this has actually been marked as an exhibit, Your Honor, so I'm going to approach the gentleman. It's this one here, Judge.
All right. You want it? Are you intending to?
Yeah, I am.
Any objection, Ms. Beatty?
No.
Okay, so is that,
Why don't we mark it?
Exhibit 329. Oh, it is marked. Here's
oh, the yellows, I thought that was ID, I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, so hold that up for the jury, that'd be Exhibit 288? Yes?
Yes.
All right. And looking again, it kind of blends in with the woodwork, but you can see that's all the shattered glass there that we're talking about, correct?
Correct.
Now, you indicated in your testimony, you can put that down. You indicated in your testimony that there was also a glass that you noted, like a base, I guess is a good way to put it, a base of the glass, right?
It was just, I believe I noted it was just what appeared to be a broken drinking glass.
And where was that?
It was on the dresser area.
And you're careful to document these things, and you have your little charts and graphs and diagrams and everything. You make sure to refresh your memory that you're able to tell what physical evidence is at the scene that you're investigating, right?
Yes.
Now, you indicated that this broken drinking glass was on the dresser, right?
Yes.
Continue with Exhibit 284. Does that depict or show the broken drinking glass that was on the dresser?
Yes.
Do you know, sir, where that is? Did anyone put that like in a box or a bag or anything?
I'm not aware if they did or not.
And would you know if, in other words, how do you guys know whether or not you have evidence?
I only know of the evidence that has been submitted to the lab.
Okay, so that was not submitted to the lab.
Correct.
You don't know where it is. You don't know where it is.
I don't.
You put that in. Are you aware, sir, that there was another base of a glass that was found underneath another piece of furniture that was next to the bed itself?
I was not.
Did you look, or did you see? Because if you look at the furniture in the exhibits or in the photographs, you can actually see the base of the glass that was also shattered.
I did note that there were areas of what appeared to be broken glass. I probably just assumed that that base was a part of just broken glass.
Just assumed that the base, as you're sitting here today, do you remember that there was another base?
No, I don't recall seeing one.
Making that up.
Objection.
Sustained,
Well,
rephrase
you're
it.
just saying that you probably might have remembered or seen it, but you don't know, correct?
Objection.
Overruled.
I said apparent broken glass, and that can mean a wide range of shapes and sizes.
Yeah, but you in your report took pains to state a broken drinking glass was on the dresser and apparent pieces of glass were at the foot of the bed in the master bedroom.
Yes.
That's what you said in your report.
Correct.
You said nothing about other glass scattered around the bedroom anywhere, right?
I did not.
Okay. And you said nothing about another base of a glass being underneath a piece of furniture next to the bed, correct?
Correct.
When you were checking out Harry's Jeep, and is it the Jeep that you made? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there was some red-brown stains on the steering wheel?
Correct.
And also, I guess, on the air conditioning or something, or knobs?
There was only a visible red-brown stain on the steering wheel.
All right. And that was swabbed, right?
Yes.
And that was sent in for testing, right?
Correct.
And that was his blood, wasn't it?
I don't recall if it wasn't. I don't.
It was, you know, he was struck by the glass and he was bleeding from his head, right?
I was not aware of that.
Okay, thanks. All right. Your Honor, could I have exhibit number 7, please?
7?
Yeah.
Is it a photograph?
Yes, sorry. Now that there, sir, you recognize that table, right?
If I had a expanded view of it, yes, I'd be able to tell you where it was from.
All right, how about exhibit 6? That's the expanded view?
Yes, that looks like the table that was in the hotel room.
All right. And you had plenty of time to do a thorough examination of this table on a murder investigation, right?
It was a missing persons investigation.
Okay. Well, you noted that, like, for example, an EMT syringe from using Narcan was on the table, right?
I just noted that there were needles there.
There was a needle on the table, correct?
Correct.
You also note that there's a knife, right?
Correct.
And the knife is right next to the paper towel, right?
Correct.
And the paper towel has the red-brown stains that you made much of in your testimony, correct?
Correct.
And it also has another paper towel that's next to the bigger paper towel with the red-brown stains, right?
Correct.
And can you bring this in closer to the knife? And that also shows what appears to be red-brown stains on the knife, right?
Yes.
Now, I asked you this morning, very basically, whether or not you remember seeing a knife with red-brown stains on it in the hotel room, and you didn't recall that, right?
Correct.
Do you know where that knife is?
I don't.
Did you ever send it anywhere to have it tested?
I didn't note it, so I did not collect it.
You what?
I did not note it on my crime scene notes, so another officer that was there may have moved it. I don't know.
They have. That's all I have. Thank you. So let's.
Actually, can we keep that up there, please?
Mr. Sheehan, is it possible that there were other people in the hotel room before you arrived?
Yes.
Is it possible that there were other people that took photographs in addition to Trooper Sal?
It is possible, yes.
Is it possible that there are other law enforcement agencies that took photographs prior to you arriving?
Yes.
Is it possible that they took the items that were located in that picture?
Yes.
Could we please zoom in on that photograph? I'm sorry, what exhibit number is that? 6. Exhibit number 6.
So,
All right. So do you see a knife in that photograph?
I do.
And then Ms. Gilman, can you move it down a little bit? I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. Up is more what I meant. Do you see a cell phone in that photograph?
I do.
All right. And did you note anything in your notes about either seeing a knife or a cell phone?
I did not.
Okay. And now, Ms. Gilman. Sorry, I just need the lights because I can't see. All right. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
So I'm showing you exhibit number 7, and this has a series of numbers printed on image numbers. Can you read those, please?
This is number 20200515 space 115853.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Gilman, please have exhibit number 37. All right, and could you please zoom to the same area of exhibit number 37? Do you see the knife in exhibit number 37?
I do not.
Do you see the cell phone in exhibit number 37?
I do not.
All right, could we have the lights back on? May I approach?
You may.
Showing you the original of exhibit number 37. There's some letters and numbers. Could you please read those?
This is SAO space 0174.
What does SAO indicate to you?
SAO, Trooper Alex Sau's initials.
Who is Trooper Alex Sau?
He was the one that, Crime Scene Services Trooper that I responded to the hotel room with.
And are there a number of different people who have the ability to collect evidence when they are at crime scenes?
Yes.
Who are the number of different people who have the ability to collect evidence?
Any one of the investigators are allowed to collect evidence.
Can troopers assigned to detective units collect evidence?
Yes.
Can local departments collect evidence?
Yes.
Can troopers assigned to crime scene services collect evidence?
Yes.
And do they all have the ability to submit that evidence to the State Police Crime Laboratory?
They do.
And why didn't you collect the broken glass?
At the time of the investigation, the information that I had, the involved parties had both lived in the home, and showing any type of DNA on those items would not provide additional information. If one of those items did have a red-brown stain on it, then I would have collected it.
Just a minute, please.
Yes.
I don't have any further questions.
Well, you got to see it before you can collect it, right?
There was a picture taken of it, so it was seen.
Oh, so you've seen the picture.
I saw that from that picture, but I did not see it at the crime scene.
Oh, okay. My question, sir, is when you say they took a picture of it, what are you referring to?
The knife that was on the table.
Okay. Let's go to the bedroom. The second, if you will, base of the glass that was underneath the furniture. That was not seized. We've already established that, right?
It was not seized by me.
Okay. You didn't see it?
Correct.
All right. So like you told the jury that if you had seen red-brown stains, you would have tested it. You didn't see it. You have to see it before you can test it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Who is Alex Sau?
He was the crime scene services trooper who was taking photos.
So isn't it true that you guys have pretty much your rigid box that you're in when you're investigating? In other words, someone's a photographer, someone secures the scene with that yellow tape we're all familiar with, right?
Objection as to form.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. Someone secures the scene to make sure that people aren't traipsing through it and messing up the evidence, right?
Yes.
Right. Someone like you would be designated as the CSI, a crime scene investigator, that would actually look for evidence, right?
Correct.
And you're telling this jury that somebody possibly took items, it could have possibly been another trooper or even a local cop?
It is possible.
Objection as to form.
Okay, overruled. He may answer it if he knows.
It is possible. I do not have control over what other people collect or don't collect.
Well, you've heard of chain of custody, right?
Yes.
And chain of custody basically means that if someone has a pen and they hand it to you, you want to document it, you write it down. You guys have those little checklists, right?
Yes.
Did you fill out any checklists of chain of custody on any of these items?
I did.
Did anyone tell you that they seized, for example, a knife with red-brown stains on it out of the hotel room?
I was not made aware of a knife with red-brown stains on it.
Isn't that something that would be important as a lead crime scene investigator, that you're telling the jury you send stuff to the crime lab to have it tested? They're going to tell you about it, right?
Yes.
Nobody told you about that, right?
Correct.
Nobody told you about the other base of the glass found underneath the furniture, correct?
Correct.
You never tested the spots, the black spots, right?
I did not know.
Nobody did.
Nobody did.
Nobody sent them to Trace Services, right?
They were available for testing if there was something to compare them to.
So when an attorney asks you they were not sent to Trace Services and you respond they were available for testing but nobody sent, the bottom line is yes, they were available and they were not sent, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, you may step down, sir. Margaret.
Yes.
We're going to take a recess for about 25 minutes and then come back and go until about 2. All right? Okay, thank you.
All rise, please. Your section.
Sure. Miss Beatty, who do you have next?
Alana Frederick, she's the DNA analyst.
All right, and then after her?
I think the Commonwealth Rest. I just want to think about one other thing, but
Sure. Okay. All right. And you want to do a voir dire of Dr. Zeisel?
yes, please.
All right. My suggestion is we do that tomorrow morning.
Yep.
maybe I'll have the jurors come in at 9:30, so we have time to do that.
Good.
All right, and then you have other
I
witnesses
do.
lined up for tomorrow?
Got them outside right now, and I've got them lined up for tomorrow. Yep.
Okay. All right, so we'll come back in about 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Court, all rise.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to the court and the jury in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record?
My first name is Alana, Alanna, and my last name is Frederick, Frederick.
How are you employed?
I am a forensic scientist too in the DNA unit of the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab.
How long have you worked at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab?
For approximately 15 and a half years.
And can you describe your educational background to the jurors?
I received my Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry with a concentration in forensics and a minor in criminology from Merrimack College.
And can you describe to the jurors your professional background?
I attended a 17-week training academy at the Northeast Regional Forensic Institute, where I studied population genetics and statistics and DNA typing methods, and then also did training in-house with the protocols and procedures I would be using in casework.
And is there continuing training at the crime laboratory?
Yes, we DNA analysts are required to have a minimum of 8 hours of continuing education every year.
And are there competency tests and proficiency tests in the DNA section of the State Police Crime Laboratory?
Yes. So a competency test is given to an analyst at the end of their training before they start using that procedure on casework. It is a hands-on lab test where you know what the outcome should be, so you have to pass that test to do casework with that technology. That is a competency test. And then I also take proficiency tests every 6 months. That's after your original competency test. And these are also hands-on lab tests where we know the results to ensure you're still using the protocols and procedures properly.
What is DNA?
DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid and is the fundamental building blocks for all living organisms. We get half of our DNA from your mother and half of your DNA from your father. And it is the understanding that DNA is different between individuals with the exception of identical twins.
And where is DNA found in the human body?
So DNA is inside of the cells in your body.
And in what types of biological substances is it possible to find DNA?
You can find DNA in skin cells or epithelial cells, blood, saliva, but that would also likely be from skin cells, semen, and other bodily fluids.
And can the DNA of an individual person be analyzed?
Yes.
And how is that done?
So generally speaking, when we analyze DNA at the lab, the lab uses a 4-step process. The first step is called extraction, where you start with a small sample in a small tube and use heat and chemicals to break open the cells that are on that sample because the DNA is inside of them. The second step is called quantitation, where we use an instrument to get an approximate value of how much human DNA and how much male-specific DNA is in a sample. The third step is called amplification, where we make millions of copies of the locations of the DNA that we are looking at. And the fourth step is called detection, where we use an instrument that separates each of the DNA fragments based on their size, and the different sizes is what makes up a DNA profile.
And what type of DNA testing is conducted at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratories?
So we do two types of DNA testing. We do STR testing, which is human specific, so both male and female DNA profiles would be present. And then we also do what is called YSTR testing, and that is male specific. So that is actually only looking at the Y chromosome, and that is inherited patrilineally. So that means that you would expect a biological father and son and brother and grandfather to all have the same YSTR profile.
And why would either STR or YSTR testing be conducted on a particular biological sample?
It can depend on a variety of reasons. The most common is that in cases, especially in sexual assaults, there is often a female victim and a potentially male perpetrator, and body swabs will obviously have the DNA from the person's body that you have taken it from. So intimate swabs of a female victim you would expect to have a lot of female DNA present on those. So because the probative portion would be male specific in that instance, we can look at just the male portion of the DNA in that sample.
And are there other scenarios in which YSTR testing is particularly useful?
So generally speaking, it would be in any sample type where we have a lot of female DNA present and not a lot of male DNA, and we are trying to get the male portion of that profile.
What are the possible uses in general of DNA testing?
There are many. So we can use it forensically. Also, there's paternity testing. There can be used for various medical procedures and processes as well.
Okay. And what is the purpose of the testing that the crime laboratory, the type that the crime laboratory does?
Generally speaking, we get evidence samples submitted to the laboratory and do the necessary forensic DNA testing on those items to get an unknown profile. And then we compare those unknown evidence profiles from evidence to known standards in a case. So a known DNA standard would be a swab that's taken directly from an individual, so we know whose DNA profile that is.
Is the crime lab accredited to do DNA testing?
Yes.
And by whom?
We are accredited by ANAB, which stands for ANSI, National Accreditation Board.
And when you're doing testing, are there steps taken to protect against contamination?
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Analysts use gloves, wear lab coats. Currently, we also wear hairnets in the lab and face masks.
And is there a review process?
Yes. So each case goes through a two-step review process. The first step is called technical review, where the file is reviewed for technical and scientific accuracy to ensure that we followed the protocols and procedures. And then there's also an administrative review, which is more looking for grammatical and spelling errors.
And are controls utilized?
Yes.
What is their purpose?
So we have two types of controls. We have a positive control, which is a known DNA profile that is processed alongside of our samples, so that we can ensure that all of the chemicals and tests worked appropriately and we get the profile we expect at the end. And then there's also a negative control, and that has no DNA present, and that is to check for contamination of chemicals during the process.
All
right, directing your attention to lab number 20-10486. Did the lab perform DNA testing and analysis on items submitted by the Massachusetts State Police?
Yes.
And what was your role?
So I described the four-step process. That's the lab process to develop a DNA profile. After that profile is developed, it is then also assigned to an interpreting analyst to read the data, interpret it according to our protocols and procedures, and then also write a report.
And which items were tested?
Your Honor, may I refer to my report?
Any objection, Mr. Reddington?
No, not at all.
You may.
Thank you. The first item was item 1-4.1, which was a sample of a cutting from a red-brown stain, number 1, on a bed from the master bedroom of 29 Valley Road.
Can I just stop you for 1 minute? You said item -1-4.1. What does the .1 refer to?
The point 1 is, items first, a whole item's item number would be 1-4. A small piece of that item, the piece that is getting DNA testing done on it, or a snippet as we called, it would be the .1 of that.
Okay. Please continue. What additional items were tested?
Also, item number 2-1, which were the swabs from the exterior driver door handle from a vehicle with mass registration 4LC133. Item 2-2, swabs from the exterior passenger door handle from that same vehicle. Item number 2-3, swabs from the exterior trunk door handle from that vehicle. Item 2-4, the swabs from the temperature and audio controls of that vehicle. Item 2-5, swabs from a red-brown stain of the steering wheel of that vehicle. Item number 11-2.1, which was a sample from the right-hand fingernails from Kathleen McLean. And item number 11-3.1, which was a sample from the left-hand fingernails from Kathleen McLean.
And is it also fair to say that another analyst tested and reported results from a known blood standard from Kathleen McLean?
Yes.
And what was that item number?
That item number was 11-1.1.1.
And also a known saliva sample from Ingolf Tuerk. What item number was that?
That was item number 15-1.1.
So item 11-1.1.1 and 15-1.1, those are known standards. Is that what you were talking about earlier with known samples?
Yes.
And then the other items, 1-4.1, 2-1, 2-2, all the way to 2-5, and 11-2.1 and 11-3.1. What type of samples are those?
Those are questioned items or evidence items.
And can you tell us what your conclusions as the interpreting analyst were?
Yes.
Okay, so can we start with item 1-4.1, the red-brown stains from the master bedroom?
Yes. So for item 1-4.1, the DNA profile is a mixture of at least 3 contributors, including at least 1 male. A major female contributor was observed, and additional low-level DNA not suitable for comparison due to the quality of the profile was not utilized in the interpretation.
And were you able to make a comparison to the known standards?
Yes.
What were your results?
Kathleen McLean matches the major profile. Would you like me to do the stat as well?
Yes. Could you explain the statistical value for the comparison to Kathleen McLean?
Yes, and the expected frequency of occurrence of that profile is approximately 1 in 7.782 nonillion unrelated individuals.
What is nonillion?
A nonillion is a number with 30 zeros after it.
30 zeros?
Yes.
Okay. And so that is the statistical comparison between Kathleen McLean and the red-brown stains on 1-4.1, is that correct?
Yes.
And were you able to make the comparison to Ingolf Tuerk's known saliva standard?
Yes.
And what was that result?
Ingolf Tuerk does not match the major profile.
Okay. Regarding 2-1 and 2-2, the swabs from the exterior driver and passenger door handles, what were your conclusions?
So those were two separate items, but they did have the same conclusion. Both of them were STR DNA profiles that were not suitable for comparison due to the quality of the profile.
Okay. So does that mean that you were not able to do any sort of calculation or further work on them?
Correct.
Okay. Regarding 2-3, the swab from the exterior trunk door handle, what was your conclusion?
So the STR DNA profile was a mixture including male DNA, and 2 contributors were assumed.
And were you able to perform a statistical calculation for comparison?
Yes.
And what is that?
So the DNA profile from this item is at least 1.3 septillion times more likely if the DNA originated from Ingolf Tuerk and an unknown individual than if it originated from 2 unknown individuals unrelated to Ingolf Tuerk. This provides support for an inclusion.
And what is that, the number septillion, what is that?
A septillion is a number with 24 zeros after it.
Okay. And were you able to perform a comparison with Kathleen McLean?
Yes.
And what were your conclusions?
Kathleen McLean was excluded from this DNA profile.
Regarding 2-4, the swab from the HVAC radio controls, what was your conclusion?
The STR DNA profile is a mixture, including male DNA, and 3 contributors were assumed.
Were you able to make a comparison to the known standards?
Yes.
And were you able to calculate statistics?
Yes.
What are those?
So the DNA profile from this item is at least 5.9 quintillion times more likely if the profile originated from Kathleen McLean and 2 unknown individuals than if it originated from 3 unknown individuals unrelated to Kathleen McLean. That provides support for an inclusion. And secondly, the DNA profile from this item is at least 1.1 billion times more likely if the DNA profile originated from Ingolf Tuerk and 2 unknown individuals than if it originated from 3 unknown individuals unrelated to Ingolf Tuerk. This provides support for an inclusion.
Regarding 2-5, the swabs from the red-brown stain on the steering wheel, what was your conclusion?
The STR profile is a mixture, including male DNA, and 2 contributors were assumed.
And were you able to make a comparison to the known standards?
Yes.
And did you calculate statistics?
Yes.
And what are those?
The DNA profile from this item is at least 21 nonillion times more likely if the DNA profile originated from Ingolf Tuerk and an unknown individual than if it originated from 2 unknown individuals unrelated to Ingolf Tuerk. This provides support for an inclusion.
All right. And were you able to make any conclusions regarding Kathleen McLean?
No conclusions can be made regarding Kathleen McLean as a contributor due to uninformative statistics.
All right. Regarding 11-2.1, the sample from the right-hand fingernails of Kathleen McLean, what was your conclusion?
This YSTR DNA profile is a mixture of at least 2 male contributors. A major male contributor was observed. The minor profile is not suitable for comparison due to the quality of the profile.
And were you able to make a comparison comparison to the known standards?
Yes, for this one, we only compared to Ingolf Tuerk as it is for YSTRs. So the major DNA profile is at least 256 times more likely if the profile originated from Ingolf Tuerk or a patrilineal relative than if it originated from a randomly selected individual. 99.9% of the male population is excluded.
I'm sorry, the door closed. Like, is 99% of the male population is
Excluded.
regarding 11-3.1, the sample from the left-hand fingernails of Kathleen McLean. What was your conclusion?
A YSTR profile was obtained from that item.
And were you able to make a comparison to the known standard?
Yes.
And were you able to calculate statistics?
Yes.
And what was that?
So the DNA profile is at least 1,246 times more likely if it originated from Ingolf Tuerk or a patrilineal relative than if it originated from a randomly selected individual. 99.9% of the male population can be excluded from this profile.
I don't have any further questions at this time, Your Honor.
So, when you say contributors, what does that mean?
So contributors is referring to the number of individuals that could potentially make up a DNA profile.
I see. And when you're talking about DNA, for example, I'm holding the pen, right?
Yes.
So if you in your lab were to test this pen, is what we call, I think, handler DNA or shed cell DNA, something like that would possibly be on this pen, would be mine.
Yes, that's just referring to perhaps how it got there.
It's
But
just an example. But
yes.
and perhaps any other guy or woman that happened to handle the pen.
Yes.
All right. So when you're examining for example, as counsel asked you about the right hand fingernail or left hand fingernail, what is it you're actually looking at? Are you looking at a fingernail? Are you looking at a substance, or is it a swab, or what is it?
So it can depend. In this
case, what did you do in this case?
In this case, I was not in the lab. I was the interpreting analyst, so I did not look at the physical sample itself. I review the DNA profile that's obtained during the testing.
So my point is that you, as a tester, whether or not you're the interpreter or somebody else apparently is the actual tester, you don't know what you're testing. It's basically a swab that's examined, right?
Yes, it can be a swab, it can be a cutting, depends.
Okay. Do you know whether it was a swab or a cutting in this case? If you know.
I do not. I would have to refer to my file to get that answer.
Okay. Do you have that with you? Or
yes, I can.
Something you can do quick, or is
yes.
it a big file?
Let's see. Item number 1-11-1131. Those are swabs.
So you don't know, if, for example, if it's like blood or skin cells, or it's a swab that was tested, right?
Yes.
And on the right hand, if I understand correctly, fingernails, the swab from the fingernails, there were 2 male contributors, right?
Yes.
This was the YSTR testing, and again, forgive my ignorance, but the YSTR would be if it's a guy, if it's a male, right?
Yes.
As opposed to regular STR, which could be a female or a male.
Correct.
So, for example, the right hand had DNA from the swab from 2 male contributors, and you knew that Ms. McLean and Ingolf Tuerk were married, right?
I don't know if I knew that, but now I do.
How about if a husband and a wife have sex, they're in the shower and they're having sex in the shower, they're having sex on the bed, they're having sex somewhere. You get DNA on your fingernails, correct?
Potentially.
The left hand, again, there was determination that would be one male contributor, or was it 2 male contributors?
It was a single source profile, so 1 contributor.
So under the right hand or the left hand, you have swabs. On in the right hand, 2 male contributors, and Ingolf Tuerk is included in both as far as underneath the fingernail, correct?
Yes.
And you went on with the septillions and gazillions and nonillions and all the rest of it, for example, as you were testifying to the examination of the Jeep. You were aware that that was a white Jeep that was Ingolf's car? It was his car? Did you know that?
All I know is that it has mass registration 4LC133.
All right. If I suggest to you that that's Ingolf Tuerk's car, it wouldn't be unusual for him, for example, on the exterior trunk to have his own DNA on his own car trunk, right?
Correct.
And I probably have my DNA, Judge probably has his DNA on his trunk. I mean, everybody's got DNA in their car parts, right?
It is likely that your DNA is on your own items, yes.
Exterior trunk, you did determine that it was Ingolf Tuerk and 2 contributors to whatever it was. It was a lot of zeros after that. The controls on the dashboard, you noted that there were 3 contributors, could be 3 people in the car that were playing with the radio or the AC or something, right?
All I can say is that there were 3 contributors to that sample.
And the steering wheel also, you had a determination, there were 2 contributors, one of which would be Ingolf Tuerk and his car, correct, to the steering wheel?
He was compared and included.
Okay. And then looking at the bed, you made reference to what you determined to be the swab, or the cutting, I think, from the blood, what appears to be blood on the bed. You noted that there were 3 contributors to that?
Yes, 3 contributors for 1-4.1.
Okay. Go ahead.
Nothing further.
Okay, you may step down, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Commonwealth?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth rests at this time.
Okay, Commonwealth has rested.
Can we approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Judge, you can stand up for a minute if you want to. So the Commonwealth has rested. Members of the jury, Mr. Reddington?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Could I have Richie Kovitz, who's right outside? I think so.
Raise your right hand. So, shall give to the court and the jury in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Hi.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell us your name and spell your last name.
Richard Kovitz, C-O-V-I-T-Z.
And you're doing good, but I want to make sure that you project your voice so long as you're going to get here as well.
Okay, Richie, want me to do it again?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you live, sir?
Right now I'm in Boca Raton.
And how long have you been in Boca Raton?
About a year.
Who do you live there with?
Girlfriend,
And what's her name?
Carla Mello.
Now, do you know Harry Tuerk?
I do.
Tell the jury how you know Harry Tuerk.
I met Harry years prior to 2020, probably like 2016, 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we time frame, for example, 2020
Mm-hmm.
to the spring of 2020, when Ms. McLean's body was found and this investigation started, you have known him for what, about 5 years or so?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember from personal experience when we collectively were hit with the so-called pandemic?
Yes.
And as a result of the pandemic, did Harry, yes or no, hearsay, did he come to you and have a conversation with you?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
As a result of the pandemic, did you have a conversation with Harry Tuerk, yes or no?
Yes.
All right. As a result of that conversation, did you have occasion to observe his state of mind about the pandemic and safety?
Yes.
All right, that answer will stand. That was a yes?
Yes.
All right, next question.
And as a result of that conversation, what did you do? Did you let him do something?
To move in, you mean to move in with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You were there, so you were.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I sorry, I was confused, yeah, a little bit.
Where did you let him move in with you?
In Boston, on Beacon Street,
All right. Is that an apartment or
condo.
condominium?
Yes.
And is that where you and Carla reside? When, if you know, did you allow Harry to move into your condominium with you and Carla?
You know, it was 5 years ago, so I would probably say about maybe January, or towards the end of January of 2020.
Of 2020?
Yeah, yes.
So did he live with you in the month of February?
Yes, he did.
Did he live with you in the month of March? in 2020?
Yes, most of it.
At some point, did he go somewhere? Did he
Yes.
Where did he go?
He went to Germany.
Do you know why he went to Germany?
Yes.
Why?
I had a friend of mine that knew him that I put together, and he had some sort of robotic surgery of some sort that he was consulting for.
And was he looking for a job?
Yes.
Did you go to Germany?
Yes.
For a period of time?
Yes.
And if you know, your best estimate, how long was he in Germany trying to get a job in robotic surgery?
Probably 2 weeks.
Right? And then after that, did he come back from Germany?
He did.
You know the reason that he came back from Germany?
COVID hit.
When he came back from Germany, did he reach out, not what he said to you, but did he reach out to you and have a conversation about where he could live?
Yes.
And did you welcome him back into your condo again with Carol?
Absolutely.
Was he able to live with you and Carol?
No.
Why is that?
Because my board, the board of the condominium association was, COVID just hit, so everybody was panicked about it, and they were just frightened about anybody coming in and out of the condominium at that time, especially from overseas. They made an excuse, so I was trying to be, nice about it and said, Harry, can you find a place to live for a little bit? I didn't know how long it was going to last.
Okay. So he was not, because of the condo board, he was not able to live with you and Carol again, correct?
Correct.
And did he have his own home that he could live at? Yes.
No. No.
Did you know that ultimately he ended up leaving Massachusetts and going somewhere?
Yes.
Where did he go?
He went to Florida.
Do you know where he lived in Florida?
I know.
Okay, do you know, was it a condo, was it a house?
There's a trailer.
Trailer. Okay. Did you stay in touch with him during that period of time that he was living in the trailer in Florida?
Yes.
Did he share with you his fear and concern about the pandemic?
Yes.
Did you?
Okay, overall, that may stand. Next question.
Did you, at some point, did you ever, in 2020, see him again?
When,
2020, after he was down in Florida?
No.
For a period of time?
No.
You did not see him again?
No, I didn't. No.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you, sir.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, you may step down, sir. Thank you. Okay.
Can we do Mr. Kite? Your Honor, this is the gentleman that's on Zoom. He's in Florida.
All right, so jurors, we're going to have the next witness by agreement on Zoom.
So you're going to see the next witness on the screen here, assuming our technology works. And it's just as if the witness were on the witness stand right here. If you have any trouble seeing or hearing, just raise your hand and we'll try to rearrange things.
Can we just do a sound check first to make
Yes.
sure where the sound's coming out of and all this good stuff?
Did he leave the room, so to speak? He's not on the,
I'm not in the Zoom.
he was on the, he was in the waiting room. All right, then we'll hold off on Mr. Kiten, Attorney Kiten.
I told you there was going to be, this is what technology is.
We'll hold off on Attorney Kiten. I would call Attorney Hoffman, who's in the hallway. I'm sorry, Attorney Lasavita.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to the court and the jury in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Would you tell us your name, please, and spell your last name for the record? Keep your voice up so all the jurors can hear you.
Yes, Mary Lasavita, and that's spelled L-A-C-I-V-I-T-A.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a divorce attorney.
And where's your office?
It's about 1.5 miles down the road in Dedham.
In Dedham. Now, directing your attention to the year of 2020, the end of January, did you have occasion to meet with Harry Tuerk?
Yes, I did.
Do you recognize him here today?
Yes, I do.
And tell the jury the circumstances of your meeting with him without getting into... All right, let me rephrase the question. Did you meet him because he wanted a divorce?
Yes, I did.
You know who he wanted the divorce from?
Yes, I do.
Who was that?
Kathleen, I'm not sure if it's McLean or McLean,
Okay.
but
And they were married for about 5 weeks or so, is that right?
yes, I think my notes said 6 weeks, but that could have been overestimating.
Now, I'm going to approach you, and by the way, at some point did I ask you to obtain documents that you kept or you keep in the normal and usual course of your business?
Yes, you did.
Business records?
Yes,
And you
yes.
produced them for me, right?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to hand you an email between yourself and Harry dated January 29th of 2020. I have provided, just so you know, I have provided that to you. Okay, thank you. I'm going to hand you this, and then you can identify that.
Yes, so this is an email that I had sent to Mr. Tuerk, just confirming our consultation, where it was, directions to my building,
Okay.
things like that.
And what's the date on that?
January 29th, 2020.
Put off of that, Your Honor.
Can I ready to approach?
Yes.
So jurors, we're going to break for the day. I have to discuss some matters with the attorneys, and it's getting close to 2 o'clock. Please be here at 9:30. You don't need to be here at 9. Make sure you're here by 9:30. It is going to be a full day. As of right now, plan for Wednesday to be a full day as well. You are very likely to get this case to begin your deliberations late Wednesday, more probably on Thursday. Okay, that's the schedule. Please remember all of my instructions. Okay, you need to keep an open mind. You have not heard all of the evidence yet. You need to avoid contact with anybody having anything to do with this trial. You cannot talk about this case or any other case in this building with anyone, including among yourselves. So as you're walking out together, you can talk about the awful weather we've been having or anything else, but you cannot talk about this case or any other case in this building. You cannot do any independent research, okay? So you can't go visit any of the places that we've heard about during the course of this trial, any of the places that we've already visited during the course of this trial. Okay, you need to avoid looking anything up or searching for any information by way of the internet or any other means, including the TV, radio, etc. So to the extent you hear anything about this case or any other case in this building, you are to immediately click off of it, turn the TV or radio off, etc. Okay, and with that, I'm going to wish you a good afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.
All rise, please, for his exit.
All right, I'll be out to see you.
All right, you be seated. So, with respect to the emails, what I would ask you to do is talk to one another about the emails, see if you can come to some kind of an agreement, or at least call the ones out that you're not objecting to, that go to timeline. If you have substantive objections, obviously.
I did that this morning with
Okay. I can hear you in the morning on the email issue as well, and the Dr. Zeisel voir dire at 9:30.
Yep.
Okay, anything else that we need to discuss?
Today, Zeisel here at 9:30? Well, he'll be here at 9 anyway, so.
No, 9.
So we're doing Zeisel first before we do the letters, okay?
All right, any other issues? Did the defendant's medical records go in?
I offered them, but they haven't gone in yet because we did have some.
I have them.
But my point is, they're going in by agreement. It's just a matter of making sure, because of the fact that Norwood Hospital is no longer in business, you want to make sure that you have a complete copy of the records.
I think we have as complete a set as we're going to get. I gave a set to Mr. Reddington with proposed redactions today, flagged for him. Once he reviews them, then we can make the redactions and submit those as an agreed exhibit.
Okay. All right. And you have witnesses lined up tomorrow?
I do. I can.
You could potentially finish tomorrow.
If they finish cross-examination of Dr. Tuerk, yeah, but I'm assuming it's going to take, maybe go over to the next day.
Okay. All right. Anything else before tomorrow?
Nope.
Do either side have any proposed jury instructions?
Can I just, before we talk about the jury instruction?
Yes.
It is my understanding, though, regarding Mr. Chiton, that we're only talking about issues relating to the deed and the timing of the deed signing.
Yeah, I've sent him copies of the text. I've given the government copies of the text. It's just going to include that.
The stipulation, I'll read in first thing. If you just remind me tomorrow morning, I'm happy to read it in, or one of you can read it in. It doesn't really matter to me.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll see you at 9 a.m.
All right.
Thank you.
All rise.
Okay, so that ends day 6. That was a half a day. But we'll go over what we heard so far. First up was Mr. Lieutenant Edward Keefe, and thanks Erin for this new graphic. She filled out the graphic a little bit for us, so appreciate that, Erin. Part of the things Erin does on the back end that you guys don't know about. Yeah, Mr. Titan, what a name. All right, so Lieutenant Edward Keefe gets up. He's a cybercrime unit, digital forensics. He basically is the Cellbrite extracted Vanessa's, Katie's, Kurt's, and Harry's phone. The only one that had a security feature was Harry's phone. He was unable to do a full extraction on that. Then he talks, and then that was it. He just does the extraction. He doesn't do the analysis. Then next up is, wait a minute. Oh, I got that wrong. This is 16. Huh, something happened there. Next up is Matthew Sheehan. He's the forensic scientist. He took a lot of photos. He collected swabs from the bathroom sink, shower knob, and brown stains on the table. Then he went to the home. He has diagrams of the house and red droplets around the house. Then there was a bottle of Glenfiddich and a knife found in the passenger seat. He also did DNA testing. So this is where it got weird, right? He wasn't aware of the glass. He didn't submit it to the lab as far as he knew. This was all under cross. There was another base of glass under the furniture. He was not aware of that. He was not aware that Harry was struck by glass, was bleeding from his head. Okay, that I can get with. Didn't collect the knife with blood or tested. Now here's something weird. I gotta show this, right? Because there were two photos that they showed. They showed two photos. Let me show you this. You guys tell me what you think about this. They showed two photos. This was, I didn't quite know what the heck this was about. Hold on a sec. Let's see, where'd that go? Okay, so let me do this. You guys tell me what you think about this, because I found this very odd. All right, so here are these two photos, right? You see that the pepsid, whatever that is, you see that. Okay, first of all, you see the knife and you see the pills at the top, right? The top photo. And then the second photo, the knife is gone. So I guess they collected the knife and they took the photo again. But why would they take two photos, one with the knife and one without the knife? I'm just a little confused about that. So, and they bring it up under redirect. She's like, well, on the redirect, she's like, the knife is gone from the other photo. He didn't collect DNA from the glass because they both lived at that home. Okay, that makes sense why he didn't collect glass, because you're right, even though it's broken, her fingerprints could be all over that. That doesn't really prove anything. I was kind of hoping they would, just to say, okay, because if her fingerprints weren't on that glass, then how did that glass get broken? That's the only reason I would have. But I guess they took one photo with the knife, and then that syringe is gone too, it looks like. Looks like the syringe is gone. So maybe that's after they collected stuff. Super Bowl ate the knife. I just don't understand why they take one picture with the knife and the syringe and then one without. And we don't know what's in those syringes. There was a bunch of syringes. I don't know why they didn't test the syringe. Yeah, Shirley, there's no knife in the second picture and the syringe is gone too. I don't know, just kind of weird. Like, I'm just trying to figure out why did they do that. And then Elena Frederick, she's the DNA analyst. She basically said there was DNA under Katie's fingernails, which we heard about in openings. And then under cross, I thought this was actually not a bad cross because Tuerk said that they had hooked up that night and before he deleted her. And Reddington said couple having, relations in the shower and the bed. There could be DNA under her fingernails. And she's like, yeah, it's possible. So I thought that was good. Because initially I thought, oh, DNA under her fingernails, she's fighting back. But sure, it could have happened. Then the defense rested, and then we have Richard Kovitz, who's a friend of Harry's. I can get rid of these. We don't need these anymore. Then a friend of Harry's. He lives in Boca Raton, which is down here in Florida. It's basically just a little bit north of Fort Lauderdale. He met Harry in 2016. He lived on Beacon Street in Boston. So as the pandemic's hitting, actually Harry came to live right after the divorce in mid to late January, right? So that's when Harry moved out, 2020. And then Richard had a friend in Germany, so he connected Harry and this friend. Harry goes over to Germany, but then when he comes back, the condo board says, yep, nope, no visitors, nobody, especially overseas, because pandemic is hitting really hard at that point. So he ends up in Florida in a trailer. We heard about that. And then no cross for that. And then Mary Lasavita, she's the divorce attorney. She met with Harry, and then they talk about this email of January 29th. And then they broke for the day. And then they talk about the emails. I guess there's going to be a doctor's voir dire tomorrow. Medical records haven't come in yet. Norwood Hospital is no longer in business. So, all right. So that concludes day 6 of Massachusetts versus Dr. Tuerk. Baca, thank goodness those aren't all little blue pills, right? Could be the EMS workers that took it, yeah. Should have tested him. Shirley Roth, something's hinky with all of this. Does seem a little odd. Like maybe they took the first picture before EMS arrived, and the second one, he'd been transported to the hospital. Yeah, Baca, I can't believe they haven't tested those syringes. You think, yeah, state's rested, unless it's going to be on rebuttal, but that would be weird to save that for rebuttal. Widespread, I wonder why he didn't just rent an apartment on a short-term lease. Probably would be less expensive. Hotels probably $200 a day. He could have, that adds up, $1,400 a week. He could have easily gotten a little one-bedroom or a studio for $1,000 a month. Maybe he didn't think he was going to be gone. Maybe he thought that they would reconcile. I don't know. Shirley should have at least labeled pictures properly. Maybe they were, and my screenshot didn't provide that. I'm not sure. They could have been. I'm sure they were labeled, but I didn't get that in the screenshot. Like I'm sure they were labeled evidence 1, 2, or whatever. So, all right, you guys. I'm going to take a break now. Excuse me. We're going to pick up on Stefan Stearns. He had a hearing yesterday and a hearing today. So we're gonna pick up at 1:45, which is 1 hour from now, right? 11:45, 12:45. No, I'm sorry, 2 hours from now. We're going to take a 2-hour break. I have to work on some graphics for Stefan Stearns, and then I'm going to grab some lunch, and we're going to show yesterday's hearing, which is only 12 minutes, right? So we're going to show that hearing, and then we'll go live with the actual hearing for today. So I hope that you guys join us. I hope you guys join us for that. If you're interested in Stefan Stearns, we are going to kind of focus in on him after we finish this trial next week, unless something explosive happens and a new trial comes down the pipe. We're going to focus in on Stefan Stearns because his trial starts on the 5th. His trial starts May 5th. So we're gonna start to focus in on him. So next week we're gonna just do deep dives on Stefan Stearns. So if you guys are interested, please join us. We hope that you do. And have a great lunch. OnlyFan, grab some sleep. You got about 2 hours basically. Grab some sleep, and we will see you guys then. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to Aaron. Appreciate you guys. Let me see. Let me just make sure we have a what do you call it? What are they called? You know, I'm just drawing a complete blank right now. Redirect. That's what they are. A redirect. Yes, Aaron did a redirect already. Awesome. Okay. Redirect is already set up by Aaron. So we will see you in 2 hours. Thanks for joining us, guys. Let's see. I got to come over here. I'll leave you with Super Ball. My little paralegal. There she is, resting comfortably. All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 hours. And if you're on the replay crew, come check us out, Stefan Stearns. Bye.